Good morning, televiewers of My Media Prime Television. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation once again on this favorite bilingual program, The Brief, which is always dedicated to the review of striking headlines in the papers. On today's edition of the program, the newspapers are focusing on the outbreak of monkeypox in the southwest region of the country and the outing of a renowned prophet, talking about the situation of Cameroon, the crisis in the northwest and southwest regions of the country, and the spiritual or divine hand in this crisis, as the prophet is telling us that there will be dialogue, as per what the Guardian Post newspaper is saying, that God has revealed to him what will happen next when it comes to the resolution of the crisis in the two English-speaking regions of the country. And Eneo, as we read in the newspaper this morning, is demanding over 16 billion francs CFA from councils across the national territory. The councils are owing the institution or the company that is charged with the distribution of energy in the country over 16 billion francs CFA, and it should be recalled from what other newspapers are saying, that the entire money being owed to Eneo by some states institution as well as government itself is amounting to 150 billion francs CFA in electricity bill. We shall dwell on that this morning with our human rights activist who is already in the studio with us. Let's have the headlines with Gwladys Bomotonguina, who is here with us this morning. Bonjour Gwladys.
Bonjour Lasha. Bonjour à vous et merci d'être fidèle à Deux Briefs, votre émission bilingue de revue de presse. Ce matin, nous débutons avec le journal Info Matin. Le journal Info Matin nous amène ce matin vers les activités du ministre de l'administration territoriale Paul Atangandi. En effet, le journal nous révèle ce matin que le MINAT était dans le maillot d'année. En effet, pour préciser, le journal nous déclare que Paul et Chantal Biya était donc au chevet des sinistrés au travers du MINAT Paul Atangandi, qui était donc en visite de travail ce 11 octobre 2022 dans la région de l'extrême nord Cameroun. Il a donc transmis le message de réconfort et remis les dons du couple présidentiel aux populations victimes des inondations à Yagua, chef-lieu du département. Les détails sont donc en page 3 de Info Matin, mesdames et messieurs. Nous continuons avec Émergence Quotidien. Émergence Quotidien nous parle en grand titre de crypto-monnaie. Pour parler ici de la CEMAC, le journal nous révèle que la crypto-monnaie effectue donc une percée dans la CEMAC. Les détails sont en page 3 d'Émergence Quotidien ce matin. En page 7, le journal nous parle d'électricité au Cameroun. Eneo qui réclame donc 16 milliards de francs CFA aux communes. Toujours dans le même journal, en page 8, le journal nous parle de la saude des cotons. Les producteurs sont donc en quête de 14 milliards d'impayés. C'est du moins les informations parues ce matin par Émergence Quotidien. Toujours dans le même journal, en page 4, le journal nous amène dans le sud-ouest Cameroun et il nous présente ici des cas de variole de singe qui sont signalés dans cette partie du pays. Nous continuons avec le journal Le Jour. Le journal Le Jour nous parle en grand titre de période électorale, des journalistes outillés aux bonnes pratiques. C'est du moins ce que nous révèle ce matin le journal Le Jour. Ils sont donc invités à rester professionnels dans le cadre de l'exercice de leur métier au cours des échéances à venir. Les détails sont en page 3 du journal Le Jour ce matin. En page 7, le journal nous parle de la journée mondiale de la poste 2022. Le Cameroun compte donc 35 opérateurs privés postaux. Nous clôturons, mesdames, messieurs, avec Mutation Quotidien. Mutation Quotidien nous parle en grand titre des cartes nationales d'identité au Cameroun. La pièce dramatique, c'est du moins ce qu'a intitulé Mutation Quotidien ce matin. La scène qui s'est donc déroulée dans un commissariat à Fombot rappelle le calvaire persistant lié à la non-délivrance, autant pour moi, du précieux document dont des délais raisonnables. C'est du moins ce que nous révèle ce matin Mutation Quotidien en page 4 jusqu'à 5. Nous restons dans le même journal en page 9. Il nous parle d'élections au Cameroun, le pari donc du MRC pour 2025. En page 10, le journal nous parle de la guerre en Ukraine. Est-il une opportunité pour l'Afrique? Les éléments de réponse est en page 10 de Mutation Quotidien ce matin. Mesdames, Messieurs, voilà pour vos titres ce matin en langue française. Place à la découverte des titres en langue anglaise avec toi, Lasha.
Thank you, Gwladys Bomotonguina. Let's kickstart this morning with the Emergence newspaper. Emergence is focusing on the money being requested or asked by a new Cameroon from councils across the national territory. We are told that over 16 billion francs CFA is money that councils in the country are owing a new, and this is just part of the sum of 150 billion that some institutions or government institutions as well as the state owing a new, the energy supply or the company that supplies electricity in the country. Get full details of the story on page 7 of this edition of Emergence newspaper. Emergence is taking us to the southwest region of the country to talk about the outbreak of monkeypox that has been announced in Meme division of the southwest region of the country. You can get full details of the outing of the regional delegate for public health of the southwest region of the country, talking about the issue that, according to the regional delegate, is now under control. The delegate called on the population to stay calm in the face of the outbreak of that monkeypox over there in the southwest region of the country. On to the Guardian Post. The Guardian Post newspaper is also interested in the outbreak of monkeypox in the southwest region of the country. Authorities call for calm, say disease is controllable. The paper tells us further that following the outbreak of monkeypox in Kumba and Mbonge Meme division of the southwest region, the regional delegate of public health, Dr. Eko Fibet, has called on the population to remain calm. Get full details of this story on page 8 of this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper that you can find on the newspaper kiosk across the national territory this morning. We take you now to talk about this other incident that has to do with armed robbery at a financial institution in Mamfe. We are told that attempted bank robbery in Mamfe leaves a security guard dead and a soldier injured, and the paper tells us further that the gunmen roasted security guard to death and injured a soldier who were at the said financial institution. And the group of unidentified gunmen roasted the security guard of the National Financial Credit NFC Bank in Mamfe Manu division of the southwest region of the country to death and severely injuring a soldier. And the said incident occurred in the night of Saturday, October 9, breaking Monday, October 10, 2022. As revealed by the branch manager of the financial institution that was in an interview granted a Douala-based television channel. The gunmen stormed the bank at about midnight Sunday, roasting to death the security guard as well as wounding the soldier who was on scene, as per what the Guardian Post newspaper is telling us this morning. And the paper is also telling us what I told you in my introduction, that a renowned prophet has made frightening prophecies about Cameroon, talking about the situation of the northwest and southwest regions of the country, the conflict that has plagued those regions of the country for 6 years and counting. Now the prophet has given an outing, talking about the resolution of the conflict and what needs to be done and what God has told him regarding the conflict in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. We end this morning with Municipal Updates. Municipal Updates newspaper is telling us that a hotline has been released by Cam Water, the corporation or the company that is charged with supplying potable water in the country, for people to report fraud and other abuses. The two WhatsApp numbers were released recently or yesterday by Cam Water officials, as the paper is telling us this morning. On to this other headline that has to do with a decision that President Paul Biya is about to take. Talking about the decision, we are told that President Biya set to appoint Pioneer Limbe Port Board of Director and the General Manager. That's what Municipal Updates newspaper is telling us this morning on page 3, talking about the Limbe Deep Sea Port, that demarcation of the land to host the said port has already been done in that part of the country for construction to start immediately. Let's now end with this headline that has to do with wealth delegation or Commonwealth delegation that came visiting the country. Minister Oban markets Cameroon's new decentralization drive when it comes to the Commonwealth delegation that was in Cameroon recently. Get full story in this edition of Municipal Updates newspaper. Thank you for watching televiewers on My Media Prime Television. We are back to continue with our discussion this morning. And of course, like I announced in my introduction, Amadou Tante is joining us this morning as usual. He's a human rights activist or actor. He's always here to dwell on some of the rights abuses that Cameroonians are going through in this country. Amadou Tante, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, once more, Lasha. Good morning to Gwladys, and good morning to all the telespectators of My Media Prime Television. At least it's always a pleasure for me to be a guest on your program.
Okay, Amadou, we are talking about this issue. Last time you were on this platform, we were talking about electricity bills, where Famendongo, who is the Minister of State, Minister of Higher Education of the country, he said rectors of universities who are owing a new should negotiate with a new, and we already having the fallout of the fallouts with the University of Douala in darkness because the university is owing a new 10 billion. Now we are talking about councils. Today the papers are focusing on councils. Councils are owing a new 16 billion francs CFA.
I don't understand what is happening in Cameroon. Most of these Cameroon institutions in Cameroon, I don't understand how people.
Is
it because things have gone sour now that people have to come and watch their dirty lineage in public?
No, I don't think that should be the
It's
problem.
like their friends, most of the time, they know that they have to pay the bills because they have people at the level of Cam Water or Eneo. They don't seem to pay this bill. They just, or even threats coming from government quarters. Yes,
it's really a sad situation. I don't understand why these institutions as such could be staying for such a long time.
But this budget are voted.
Yes, in council budget are voted to that
even
effect.
the ministries they have budget. They have budgets for that, electricity and other utilities. They have budgets for that. Why are they not paying this money? That's the question many Cameroonians are asking. This why are they not paying it?
Because we have a scenario in Cameroon that especially when it comes to issues like that has to do with bills and tax, so sometimes people prefer to go and see people. Some of the people who are working at that institution and decide to give them money on the background, and maybe with time now the people are no longer working there. They don't have that opportunity now for the people to cover them, and their dirty linen are now exposed in public. Because that's what I've noticed that in several occasions in Cameroon, especially when it comes to do with bills, but payment of bills and tax issues. Yeah.
Even private contractors they are complaining. I have one person that confided a source that I will not name him. He said he has bills in Yaoundé worth over 100 million. But since he has been running, it's a contract that he executed during AFCON, and he put, all the bills, everything for the contract. He executed the contract as per what he signed with the government. But now people keep turning him at the level of the ministry, and his monies are there, and he's afraid if there's any cabinet reshufflement, his investments will go down.
Maybe he has. I think maybe the person may have refused to down to their own tune, because we understand how things are being done in Cameroon. That's why most of us realize that projects are being poorly executed. Because when you take a project, you have to first of all settle these people, and those people that are going to, like those people within the government cycle that are working in collaboration with you for you to execute the project. If you don't give them what they want from you, they will pin you down, and there will be nothing you can do.
Amadou Tante, c'est quelque chose qui est observé depuis plusieurs années au Cameroun. Ce n'est pas juste le fait de ne pas peut-être donner des pots de vin, mais au jour d'aujourd'hui, il y a beaucoup d'entreprises qui sont fermées, qui ont fermé la porte parce qu'elles ont soumissionné dans les marchés de l'État et à la fin, elles n'ont pas pu rentrer en possession de leur investissement.
Well, that's where there is a problem. We don't understand what could be happening with regard to such issues, but I believe that there is a big problem when it comes to do with our government here. Because when you give out somebody a contract to execute, I think it's very necessary to make sure that the engagement is properly respected from the beginning to the end of the contract, especially if the contract is well executed. I think maybe you can refuse to give all the money in the entirety, or give part of the money only when the contractor might not have executed the project as it ought to have been up to the end.
The problem is that most of the people who are crying that the bills are not, the government is not paying their bills, that people have executed their contracts and they are done with everything. But the issue now is for government to pay the money, and government is not paying it. There are people who are still claiming bills up to 2017. There is a construction company that executed a contract for the government, and up to today they are still behind government to get their money. 2017, we are talking about bills dating far back as 2017.
Well, I think to the best of my own knowledge, I think when there's issue as such, and those people that are concerned with such things has to take follow all the normal legal procedure to make sure that their money are refunded, such monies are refunded. Even though I understand that sometimes these people are equally afraid that if they make such things public.
Quand vous parlez des procédures légales, vous parlez de quelles procédures? Parce qu'en réalité, ils ont déjà essayé plusieurs tentatives, mais jusqu'à présent, on parle ici des gens qui ont des factures de près de 2017 jusqu'à 2022 qui ne sont pas payées.
That's what I'm saying, that most of them prefer to remain silent rather than taking the normal legal procedure to
Comment tu vas gagner le gouvernement?
Non, comment tu vas gagner le gouvernement? On a plusieurs cas comme ça. Nous, on a traité ces cas compliqués. Parce que, for example, when you see some of these high-ranking officers like administrators, like DOs and SDOs, and so most of them have a lot of problems and they are dying. Their rights are being violated, but they are dying on the background. They are afraid to talk. This is one of the cases that we are currently following up now, and we were very surprised that even at the level of the presidency, they gave an instruction for someone whose right was who was an administrator, and his right was grossly violated by the government. So somebody was seriously sick, and the government was unable to take care of the person. Somebody which is an obligation for the government to do that. But they know that these are rights that are supposed to be done, but they don't do it. Once you claim your right, and these people too are afraid that maybe when they will go forward and to begin to ask for such rights, they might be pinned down, which is not the case. When we go up with that such issue, that the government will try to cover up so that you should not expose it to the public. But when it goes out, it will cause more problems. Most of them are afraid to come up directly and talk. There are so many people who are working within the administration of the government of Cameroon. They have a lot of problems. Their rights are being violated, like we see on the private sectors as well. But these people are afraid to talk.
Mais ils doivent donc rencontrer qui? Quel est le corps qui s'occupe de ça?
No, if you are working under a particular ministry and you have a problem, you address the ministry. You address the ministry in question, address the prime ministry, and if possible, address the presidency as well. So make sure that your dues are paid or your rights are strictly respected.
How will the letters get to the right quarters at the president?
No, that's what I'm telling you. That my organization that we are working with, our Mandela Center International, we have such cases that we are currently handling right now like this.
Parce qu'il y a plusieurs entreprises qui vivent ce problème au Cameroun actuellement. Elles ont investi d'énormes sommes d'argent qu'elles ont emprunté dans des banques. Et aujourd'hui, les banques sont à leur trousse.
We are talking about 100 million.
No, I understand that sometimes some of these enterprises, the managers or the directors of these enterprises are afraid to take the legal challenge because most of those things are equally done in a fraudulent way. So they are afraid.
No.
They are afraid now to follow the right things.
There are some of those companies.
Why don't go to the law and ask for
Amadou Tante, not all the companies are bad. There are some of those companies that are genuine. I have carried my own investigation on some of those companies, and I'm telling you that the case I'm talking about is a contract that was obtained genuinely and executed genuinely. But the issue now is when it comes to payment, government is not paying the
why
money.
Is the person who is claiming to be following the who had followed the genuine route to do that? So why the person afraid to go to justice and ask for his money to be paid? That's where there's a problem. If the person who is claiming to be just, claiming that he followed the normal procedure for him to be awarded that contract, and he's still afraid to go to the law to justice to ask for his money.
Au Cameroun, malheureusement, lorsqu'on te donne un contrat, déjà pour qu'on te donne un contrat, il y a beaucoup d'arrangements qui sont signés en arrière-plan, où tu vas débourser près du tiers de l'argent qu'on va te donner et à la fin tu te retrouves en train de devoir réaliser le projet avec une minime somme. Donc la plupart du temps, comme vous le dites certainement, ces personnes-là effectuent les travaux mais ne sont pas de bonne qualité. On peut constater ça avec nos adductions d'eau au Cameroun ou avec même des constructions de routes. Donc peut-être ce sont des raisons qui amènent ces entrepreneurs à avoir peur, comme vous le dites, de rentrer, de saisir la justice pour rentrer en possession de leurs financements. Mais est-ce quelque chose qu'on doit encourager le gouvernement camerounais à faire?
No, we don't. That's not something that is supposed to be encouraged. But those are the kind of funny things that we are seeing in Cameroon that are exposing Cameroon in danger. We go about that people are going to construct road, going to do all those type of things. At the end, you don't see the normal project that was going to be done is not done properly in one way or the other because even those are within the government side have contributed and the contractor too has contributed. Even though most often the contractor is left with no choice than to do what he has, do the work with what he has at his own disposition. Because when the people take money at this level, we're going to go to the next level, they collect money. When you go to the next level, they collect money.
Mais
at the end, you are frustrated.
Comment arriver à résoudre ce problème au Cameroun, Amadou Tante?
I think with this, because we have always cried on the issue of governance in Cameroon. Because when we do things the right way. The right way is supposed to be done. And when it's something for someone to be awarded contract, there are procedures, there are rules that are supposed to be followed. Most of them, you realize that even those
when you go to room, you behave as the Romans.
No, we must change Cameroon because
so how you alone? How can you change Cameroon alone?
No, I cannot change. I'm not talking about changing Cameroon alone. I'm trying to change Cameroon with other Cameroonians. I cannot change Cameroon alone.
Don't you think that the problem is institutional? Because when these people violate the rights that they are violating, there is nothing that is done at the level of the justice system, maybe to punish these people. You know very well that to supply this mobile phone is 20,000 francs. And then you're asking somebody to give you part of the 20,000. How will he be able to supply you the mobile phone that the cost price is 20,000 francs?
I understand part of the problem.
At the end of the day, you go and buy a cheap one.
I understand that part of the problem.
And you will not get the satisfaction from the cheap one.
Part of our problem is the institutions, as you are rightly saying, but with the Cameroonians have a greater role to play for us to change that institution. Because people are afraid to talk. Because there are possibilities for Cameroonians to come together and see what they can do in order to if we think that the problem is the institution that you are saying, we cannot change the institution when we have not changed those that are linked at the institution. For example, we have the government now that has rendered Cameroonians very handicapped. Rendered Cameroonians have become beggars. Even those working within the public sector have become beggars. And if Cameroonians come together, I think, and take everything. For example, when it comes to election, and go out that want to vote for an election, Cameroonians sensitize Cameroon, make them understand how things are supposed to do. They go about and vote massively for the person that they think that can do what they want him to do. And at the end, if you are, you don't only end at the level of voting. When you vote and at the end, you have to make sure that you make sure you follow up that their votes are respected. If at the end you realize that the wrong person have won and maybe the election have been rigged, Cameroonians have to come out and denounce such things. So I think believe that way if Cameroonians come, because most of them will only vote and we don't even care about what outcome or any other thing. If you vote and follow up your vote to be and the last level and make sure that which
Cameroonians should we trust now? Amadou Tante. During the just ended parliamentary or presidential election, we saw young Cameroonians who came up with projects. They were telling us that no, they will change the narratives on how things are done in Cameroon. But once they became MPs and whatever stuff, you saw them, they came on a live video Facebook and they were telling the people how they have grown fat, how, you know, after being MP, they are now fine, they are now living, their lives have become better. They are no longer thinking about the people they were concerned about.
And that, you know, that's not the end. I was saying that when you vote somebody, you have to follow everything from the beginning to the end. If you have a parliament,
no, you can come and convince me that you will do better than President Kobe. I give you my mandate. You behave like we've seen those honorables or those young Cameroonians who took over power. I'm talking about the new MP. They are now saying that they are fine. They are not doing anything. They are now saying their lives have become better. They are now living well. Is that what?
And you can bear with me that they are not there forever. It's already 5 years. 5 years is not that much.
But 5 years, they will still come back.
No, that's why we see understand that they have not done what they are supposed to do. At the end, if after with that 5 years they come back, we will not longer vote them again. Make sure that we don't vote them against that position. If they were voted, because there are some of these people that we know that we are not even voted to that such position.
Okay, Amadou, let's stay with that. We are now talking about this issue of the bills not being paid, and we are having epileptic energy supply in the country. Water, the water that flows in our tap, they are as dirty as you cannot even imagine. I'm talking about water coming from camp water and whatever stuff. Don't you think that this non-payment of bills is what is contributing to the acute shortage of electricity and potable water in the country? Because the money is not there for the reinvestment, probably to increase the volume of water supply and also work on the infrastructure that would help boost the supply of water, potable water and energy in the country.
No, actually, that could be one of the greatest part of the problem to that effect, because I understand that if they don't have money to run to all those things, they will not be able to take care of any problem that they will encounter with regard to their to supply water to Cameroonians. Because if bills are not being paid, how would these people manage to make sure that they supply all Cameroonians in a normal way they are supposed to be done? So that's where there's a very big problem. I believe that the government of Cameroon is I believe that our people are listening to all what is happening, and they should make sure that our leaders should make sure that they handle this issue with a lot of respect. Make sure that these bills are paid. That the government influence all those that all the different actors, the different ministries or the council or.
But the issue is that the money is voted.
Yeah.
In Parliament, they vote budget. Every ministries or ministers. They come, the ministers come, they defend their budget, and the budget includes all those things you are talking about.
Yeah, because
so why are they not
leaders
using the money to pay those bills that the money has already been made available for them? Why are they not using the money?
No, I understand our leaders, when they, as we're saying, that when they come giving us fake propaganda to vote them, that when they go ahead, they will do this, they will do that. At the end, when they go there, they are doing everything possible to enrich themselves. They don't even care about the masses, nor care about the institution they are working to that effect. All they do is to embezzle money. That's the greatest thing most of them are doing.
Amadou Tante, est-ce que vous ne pensez pas que ce problème de détournement d'argent, ce problème de non-paiement de factures, ce problème de corruption au Cameroun est dû au fait de la condition économique précaire dans laquelle vivent ces fonctionnaires d'État?
No. I don't think that could be the reason for. It could be the reason for that. Because even though it could be part of the reason, because there are so many reasons that are accumulated to cause all this stuff. It could be part of the reason.
Peut-être que si leurs conditions de vie étaient améliorées, on aurait eu de moins en moins de corruption, on aurait de moins en moins de détournements, on aurait de moins en moins de scandales du côté finance au Cameroun.
Sure, that is true, but there's no justification for stealing.
Okay.
But do you really think that it's about that? Because most of these directors of public companies, public utility companies and whatever stuff, they have drivers, they have cooks, they don't pay electricity bills. Government puts all those bills for them. So what kind of living condition are you talking about? No, they have security paid for them. They have everything at their disposal.
No, you understand, as a director,
even money for occasion, when they have occasions in their homes, the buffet and whatever stuff that is done in there, it is not in their bills. It has got nothing to do with their salaries.
No, it doesn't matter. I don't think that should be a problem. Normally, understand that
because Gwladys was talking about living conditions. That maybe they are living
conditions is the problem. As I was telling you, you understand when you see
they have bomb to carburant, they have bomb to carburant, they have almost everything.
That one is not anything. I want to look at somebody, for example, look at somebody like Ezio or an Ezio. You see the person who is rolling on a car of more than 30, 40, 50 million, and if you tell you how much that Ezio earns, you understand why he has to go about seizing people's land and selling all right, in order to have money. So those are some of the problems that we have in Cameroon. The problem of low salary is one of the greatest problems that is causing this embezzlement and all this type of.
So where is our integrity now and our love for the nation?
No,
est-ce qu'il faut aimer le pays et puis mourir de faim?
No, that's the problem. Even though I encourage anybody to steal, because stealing is a crime, and anyone who is caught for stealing or must make sure that the person goes to that effect. Because we're only giving this as a recommendation for the government to make sure that they increase the salaries of Cameroon. That has been one of the guys things that we cry on Cameroon on daily basis, that the government should do everything possible to increase the salary.
It's not a problem.
Because the living standard here in Cameroon is very high. You imagine that when we go to the market, people are complaining that these things that we used to be sold at 500,000 are now being sold at 1,000. The problem is not even that the price is high. The problem is that the salaries have not been increased, and the living standard of Cameroon is remain very porous. So that's where there is the greatest problem.
Amadou Tante, you are talking about a GO, somebody who goes to NAM after 2 years he comes out. A medical doctor who spends 7 years burning midnight candles. If you have to compare the salary of that medical doctor with what the DO earns and the advantages that the DO has, why should the DO be stealing more than the medical doctor?
No, the problem is that the medical doctor don't have the access to steal, because they don't have access to steal. No, that is the issue.
Access.
Yes, but as a DO, you are the one managing the institution that are working there. And some of the medical doctors, most of them are only working within.
They could as well exploit.
That's why they are creating the clinics everywhere. I went to go to public hospital.
They could as well exploit patients.
They send you to their clinic, to their own private clinic, to go and do a consultation there. So those are some of the problems that we are facing in Cameroon. At least even people like the teachers and the medical, those of the medical field are normally those people that
effectivement, il faudrait que ce point soit observé un peu au Cameroun, d'augmenter quand même le salaire des fonctionnaires camerounais. Ça pourrait alléger quand même le problème de corruption camerounais.
No, absolutely. That is what I share that opinion too. I think that increasing the salary is one of the very important things. At least these salaries are increased. At least the level of corruption will reduce. I know that it cannot be completely eradicated, but it will reduce.
But even at that, does that still give them the latitude to go stealing or taking monies?
No, that's why I initially said here that there's no justification for stealing. If criminal offense trying to steal, you are a thief. It doesn't matter whether there's no justification for saying that my salary is small or whatsoever. Nobody forces you to go and work there. There are some people that prefer to remain on the private sector or another sector instead of going to work with the government because of the salary issue. Yes.
Ok, Amadou Tante, parlons à présent de la visite du ministre de l'administration territoriale pour la Tanganyika dans le maillot d'année à l'extrême nord Cameroun. Il est parti donner des dons aux sinistrés de Yaba.
Yeah, I think that is a very good initiative from the government. At least this gifts that are given to these victims of floods will really go a long way to help them, for temporary help them for what they have gone through. But we have always, I'll keep on saying that our major problem in Cameroon is that when there is, we should stop thinking only to go about and solve the effects of problem. We should equally be looking at where to solve all those things.
Devons-nous parler d'aide humanitaire venant du président de la République et de son épouse lorsqu'il s'agit des populations camerounaises?
No, the issue is that when they say that it's coming from the president from Paul Biya or from Madame Chantal Biya, I believe that those are their individual initiatives. Because normally that's not supposed to go. Because if you are sending him somebody like Atangaji going there on behalf of Paul Biya or going on behalf of Chantal Biya, it means that those are their personal funds, their personal money that they have removed from their private pocket and decided to help these people. Because if not, normally you are going in the name of the government of Cameroon, and not in the name of individuals. Except that maybe they are confusing all those kind of things.
Ok, mais pourquoi ne pas donc investir cet argent pour remédier à la situation, pour éviter que l'année prochaine on se retrouve toujours en train de devoir aller donner les dons aux sinistrés?
That's what I was trying to say here, that most of what we have realized in Cameroon is that most of our people always focus on solving problems. There are some of the things that are foreseeable. That's foresee that this area is very exposed, that if you allow this area like this, within 1 or 2 years or so, in the nearest future, we may have flood or something bad may happen here like that. And it's preferable to look into such thing as such. That's why we want proactive leaders who will be able to foresee what any risks that will expose people's life to danger, and try to solve those problems before they become problems, rather than waiting for something to happen. That's why you take.
Parce qu'on a l'impression que chaque année c'est la même procédure, c'est la même routine, et qu'on sort et puis on se retrouve toujours en train d'apporter des dons aux sinistrés. Mais malheureusement, le problème qui crée ces sinistres n'est pas résolu.
Well, that's where there's a problem. At least the government should look for ways of resolving such problems, because there's no problem without a solution. Sometimes when we want to talk about this issue, people start saying that town planning were done 50, 60 years ago. That is not easy to do. There's always solutions. There are always propositions that can be done, things that can be done in order to prevent such things from happening in the future again.
Okay.
Amadou Tande, do you go to church? Or?
No, I'm a Muslim.
Okay, you go to the mosque?
Yes.
Do you believe in prophecies?
Let me tell you that this issue of prophecy has become something that first of all, let me start by saying I don't believe in prophecy. Those are issues that are being used by our modern days Christians to gain cheap popularity, because all those things are just
the Guardian Post this morning is talking about a renowned, what the paper terms renowned prophet making frightening prophecies about Cameroon.
This issue, I don't understand.
There's another prophet that even had the guts to come openly and said President Pobia was going to die, and later on Pobia did not die. It's instead the prophet that finally died.
No, so since most of these things, prophets are now using this issue as this prophecy issues to gain popularity. They go about looking on top issues.
Is it not forecast? Are they not trying to? They study the situation and then come
absolutely.
out?
That is what is happening. They study the situation and decide now to say something. And also when they say something as such, you see that the people go about and keep following them. People keep going there, give them cheap popularity. Because normally when you concern Anglophone crisis, it's very clear that there's a dialogue is coming. But it doesn't. The problem now is the time. What we don't know is the time, because
saying that God is sitting, I mean, in heaven, and is instructing for that dialogue, and he is seeing the dialogue coming as instructed by God, and people who are blocking the dialogue.
There's nothing like these guys seeing God or whatever they claim to be saying. All those things are just fake things that they are doing. Some of them just go and take sim marabu and take very terrible medicine and come here and begin to use them to confuse people in churches. So all these things they call prophet or prophecy that does that. Sometimes it happens, but it happens because it's not like you were saying that he could be saying now that it's very possible that somebody will die. And name a particular person and say person may die.
But what if you say if
it can happen to anybody at any time.
If somebody who is over 90 years, 90 and counting, but is it not normal that the person would die anytime
soon? So you cannot start saying that you are foreseeing, you have God have tell you, God have informed you that this person will die in the nearest future, which is something that is very normal.
Mais pourquoi cette personne n'est pas morte avant?
That is why that's why I'm telling you that all those things they just force, they just like to just just to say anything, and so in case it happen, they will say that no, their prophecy has worked. So in case it does not happen, they'll start claiming now that maybe he did not see it well, or he did not interpret things well.
We see people following them in thousands and thousands.
No, those are
Does it not explain that they are genuine?
No, those are unreasonable people. Those people that believe on miracle, because you have to work hard. Because for you to have something, you have to work hard on what you are doing, whatsoever you are doing, and believe. Take patience, and God will surely see you through. This issue of going about believing in prophecy, somebody will tell you that you have to do this. When you go to this church, you see the way they give money. Because most
no,
of
but they talk about
in the most. You go to a church, they will tell you that even the amount of money you give, you can increase your blessings. So all those are
sowing of seed.
So that's why I was saying that it's just something that they are just created to enrich themselves. But I don't see what you are.
But the issue now is that if they created it to enrich themselves, why are people still believing in sowing the seed? It means that people have sown seed,
no,
and then
because if a prophet tells me today that in the next 2 or 3 hours or few days, nearest future, I will win a contract that will give me something, and something normally, and maybe as a civil society actor or a human rights defender who is working with regard to project that I'm working to, maybe I apply for some projects, and one of the projects come out and are successful. I received one of them, and I keep go about saying that it's because the prophet said this is a normal thing, because you know that you are working towards this direction, and you have to follow that.
Okay, who tells a prophet that you are working towards the direction?
No, when most often when they do something that they do something, because like you said on the issue of crisis, they know that there's a crisis going on. And so you are taking opportunity to that effect. And many people are following this people because people, especially Cameroonian people, in fact, the world today, people are very, very frustrated. Things are very tough. So many people are frustrated. And so when you see some of these people, they just give you hope. They try to explain things to brainwash you, make you understand, see things on different way. I begin to believe on some very funny things that are not real at all.
So, Amadou Tante, vous pensez que ces personnes-là sont des menteurs?
Please just interpret. I didn't get it.
Take it again.
Je dis que donc vous pensez, selon vous, Amadou Tante, que ces personnes-là sont des menteurs.
No, they are liars. I'm telling you, that is very clear. It's not, I don't have to mix words. They are liars.
No, that is an exaggerated and a sweeping statement.
No, I'm telling you, all this stuff. We understand that real churches, we have churches that we know that are real churches. All this stuff, new Pentecostal things they go about telling of funny stories. Especially those that has to do with this issue of what do I say here? This issue that has to do with the prophecy, all these type of things they call prophecy are fake things. There's nothing that work as such. I'm telling you that it's nothing like that. We have seen so many of people who have gone to all these type of places that they say they have problems, they have sickness, they have all these things. They end up nothing, no positive result and nothing. And people keep telling you that no, this one is a genuine person, this one is this is all that stuff. No.
Donc toutes ces personnes-là qui ont cru et qui toutes ces personnes qui ont marché avec ces gens-là et qui ont vu l'accomplissement de tous leurs projets et consorts, ces personnes-là se sont trompées.
No, when you say accomplishment of their project, as I already said, I told you here that if you know that this person is a businessman and he's doing business, somebody comes here and tell you that there's a business that you do in any time future, he's seeing a very big project coming to you that was successful.
Et qui lui avait dit que tu étais un homme d'affaires?
No, when you see, how can I say somebody doesn't need to tell him. When somebody seeing you here as a journalist, somebody need to tell you again tell another person again that this lady is a journalist or whatsoever.
Il faudrait que la personne me voie en tant que journaliste.
Yeah, but you cannot say something about somebody who doesn't know the person.
Si toi, Amadou Tante, tu entres dans l'église de quelqu'un qui ne t'a jamais vu et qui te dit Amadou Tante, vous faites dans je sais pas maintenant quoi, l'aide humanitaire et vous allez avoir un projet, il faudrait que vous marchiez comme ça. C'est vous qui lui avez dit que vous êtes.
Let me tell you that most of these churches, before you enter there, before you go there, before you enter into that church, some of these churches, so this one have to do with this prophecy, all those type of things. Some of them have to give information in advance that you are coming.
Qui leur donne l'information?
I've seen this. There are some of these pastors in Nigeria, prophets in Nigeria. There were seen people leaving Cameroon here to go there. And when you want to go there, you have to apply. There's a channel you have to apply. They have to give a rendezvous on when and where you have to come. You are coming there, and you have to tell them exactly what problem you have and what is bringing you to their church. Yes, so those are the kind of things. You cannot tell me that we come and
quelqu'un qui va dans un autre pays pour se faire consulter.
Yes.
Mais là, on parle de toi, Amadou Tante, qui va dans une église là présentement au Cameroun. Et comment est-ce que cet homme de Dieu là va connaître que tu es Amadou Tante, tu fais dans l'humanitaire? Qui est allé lui dire?
That's what I'm telling you. That most before you go to in such churches, somebody must have taken you there. And those that are taking you to that church will obviously give you information about. Because I've seen a case when one of those renounced pastors.
So then let's talk about falling now. Let's talk about falling now. They see fake falling and.
No, that one they use as superstitious power. They go and take superstitious power and they use in making people to fall. That one is very obvious. There's no doubt on that.
Avant de tenter, est-ce que vous croyez que vous pouvez avoir un contrat, suivre un contrat et il ne marche jamais?
No, the issue is that in life, there's always time for everything. You can.
Est-ce que vous pensez que vous pouvez avoir un contrat, vous marchez derrière ce contrat et il n'aboutit jamais, jusqu'à ce que vous décédez?
No, that's what I'm telling you, that when God has said that your own time has come, the time has come, it doesn't matter. So there are some people that will have to work on some contract even for 50 years, at the end when you want to die, that contract will work, things will work at that end. So there's time for everything in life. So it doesn't matter, people will keep telling you that.
Ton temps, c'est quand tu seras mort?
No, at any time, when you die, because nobody knows when he or she will die. So the issue is that when you're working in something as such, I'm just praying that God.
So what are you telling Cameroonians, that they should work hard and
stop believing on prophecies? So those things are not going to take us anywhere. They not take Cameroonians anywhere.
But at least there are still some genuine prophets now.
Genuine in what sense? When you say genuine, no, prophecy is about prophecy here, because we have genuine men and women of God. I know that very well. But prophecy is about this issue of prophecy.
Mais vous voulez dire que ces genuine men of God and women of God dont vous êtes en train de parler là ne font pas les prophéties?
No. No, most of them.
Vous êtes certain?
That's what I'm telling you, because let me just say it's only with the Christian side, because as a Muslim, we don't know anything about prophecy. I've never heard that an imam or somebody have tell somebody in the mosque that you will the next year you will win a contract of $1 billion and all sorts of things. I've never seen such thing.
Ok. Donc vous êtes en train de nous dire sur ce plateau que l'histoire de Dangote n'a jamais existé. C'était faux.
Dangote?
Oui.
Quelle est cette histoire? Dangote?
Ok, c'est bon.
Okay, Amadou Tati, thank you very much. Thank you. We are coming to the end of the program, and of course, before we leave, let's still talk about this issue of fake chiefdoms and chiefs in the Fako division of the Southwest region, where the new senior divisional officer is taking upon himself, not taking upon himself anyway, he was instructed by his boss, Territorial Administration Minister Paul Atanganji, to proceed with the identification and cancellation of fake chiefs and villages that were created by his predecessors over there in Buya. How would a chiefdom even become fake?
That's what I don't understand.
If it is created by a senior divisional officer, how and why should it be called fake now that the SDO is not dead, no longer dead?
To the best of my knowledge, I can only say that maybe the SDO created those chiefs or chiefdom without following the normal procedure. That's all I can say, but I don't know much about regard to that. But I know that if it's created without following the normal procedure that is supposed to be, then it's very normal for the Minister of Territorial Administration to take all necessary measures to make sure that all those such things are cancelled.
But the one that was created in Tiku, they call it Douala village. Was it Tiku Douala village? I can't remember. Was cancelled few months after, and we are talking about cancellation of those villages still in Fako division. Do we have the impression here that something is not right in Fako division?
I don't
there's
know.
A reason, there's a motive behind the creation of these villages and chiefs.
Yeah, that is the issue, because sometimes maybe they have some motives. They have the reasons why they decide to go about creating all sorts things. Because normally there's a law to that effect. I say the law is very clear on that. When you want to appoint, or whether it's appointing the chief, or whether it's somebody the head to a village, or particular head of a village, or chief dies, there's a procedure to make sure that they follow to intron a new chief. Even though in Cameroon there are a lot of confusion. Sometimes the population wants a different chief, but the administration does not want that particular chief. That was another problem. Sometimes the people, when you intron a different person, somebody that is not the population doesn't want the person, they come about now contesting, and the administration to realize that the population are trying to impose.
Chieftaincy and chiefdom is supposed to be hereditary now. Why are we talking about creation?
No, it's
something that is handed to generations after generations. We are now talking about creation.
No,
chiefdoms and chiefs being created.
I've been hearing that in some parts of Cameroon they are not hereditary. So in some parts of Cameroon it's the government that decide they appoint something, but not in the Western Highland, like in the West region, the Northwest, they are not the same, but they are hereditary in this region. And for you to become a chief or a fond, you have to be.
On parle des chauffeurs de premier degré parce qu'il y a degrés et degrés dans
le premier,
les
deuxième.
Non.
Les cheveux traditionnels de premier degré, c'est succession, c'est pas de génération en génération. Mais lorsqu'on arrive peut-être à cheveux de troisième degré, ça devient différent.
Well, except that I'm not ready to regard to that to show that.
But one has the impression that the third-class chiefdoms that we are talking about are quarter heads. They are they may be called quarter heads, chef du quartier. Maybe Gwladys, I don't know how you put it in English, because we are talking about the real chiefs or kings. We should be talking about looking at somebody like Sokoju in the West region, looking at somebody like Angwafo and the rest. But when you come to Fako division, it is different. It's all about creating for people to fight over lands, selling of lands and whatever. And apparently it's now that the Minister of Territorial Administration is realizing that things are not going the right way in Fako division.
No, even the minister realized it's realizing in the minister to do everything possible to make sure that they put things in order to avoid such problems. But because these things, most of them, when they do things that, so it's always a common man that suffers. Sometimes you take a chief and bring the chief comes there and begin to seize people's land and sell, saying that he's the chief and all the rest. So those are
Maître Alex Differ a déclaré hier que c'est effectivement le ministère de l'administration territoriale qui a créé tout ce désordre.
That's what I was saying, that sometimes the problem is too is administration.
But it's the law now. The law on
no, the Minister of Territorial Administration is not the law. He is not the law. There's a law that is prescribed what to be done. But most of you realize that even the Minister of Territorial Administration, so many cases have realized that the Minister of Territorial Administration have been trying to impose somebody normally who is not supposed to be at that place. In so other, I don't know with regard to the ones in Southwest, but we have seen so many cases as such where the Minister is trying to impose somebody that the population does not want. And is maybe thinking that the population now is rising and some other confusion, things starts happening in the wrong direction. Because normally when you impose somebody that the people does not want, even if the person remains there, it's always.
But is it not the villagers that are supposed to choose somebody to be their chief?
Yes, the villagers are supposed to choose somebody as their chief. Not that the villagers, the notables.
And then now the government will recognize.
Yes, they only present the person you have chosen to the government. There's a particular institution within the Ngumba saga that they choose the chief when the chief is missing. They choose the chief and take the chief now to the administration to present to the administration that this is the person that we have chosen to be our next chief.
Our tradition has become, we have sold the tradition and now we are embracing something else which is no longer the tradition.
It's our administrators, the problem is our leaders. They are the ones that are causing all the confusion.
Thank you, Amadou Tante. Thank you to televiewers of My Media Prime. It's on this note that we end today's edition of the program, which was produced for us by our producer Tebong, our Christain, who is always there. And of course, we're expecting Nsah to join us from Congo Brazzaville, but unfortunately, the lines were not that best for him to join us. Gwladys Bomotonguina co-presented the program, and I've been Lasha Kingsley, wishing you a happy or a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.